Welcome to 2019, my friends. It's the first new video for the new year for the channel, and it is a really juicy one. A bunch of the industry's leading analysts have made their predictions for what will go on in gaming in 2019, and there are some really exciting things within this report. What's going on, everybody? It's GhostRobo. Hope you guys had an awesome holiday season and a fantastic new year. We're back on track with new videos coming regularly. Michael Pachter, Dr. Sirkin Toto, Piers Harding Rolls, and NPD's Matt Piscatella have made their calls for what they expect to go down in 2019. Now, a lot of this is numbers based. A lot of this is financials based, and that stuff, while interesting, isn't as fun. So I want to focus on the games and the sort of big moves that they predict to happen in 2019. As you see from the title, the one that probably is the most interesting is Michael Pachter predicting that Call of Duty Blackout will go free to play before the end of the year. Now, as you remember, Call of Duty decided to get a little freaky in 2018, eliminating single player and bringing in Battle Royale. It worked pretty darn well for them. The Zombies mode was super strong because of it, and Blackout has achieved a substantial amount of popularity and success. But Pachter thinks that they will try to increase the player base and increase the popularity of the mode by taking it free to play at least a month prior to the launch of 2019's Call of Duty. Now, that would be a very good move to continue to push their idea of games as a service and a continuing Call of Duty experience via Blackout. But what does that mean, and what does that do for Call of Duty 2019? Will they decide to bring single player back into the fold? How will they formulate a package if they are going to take Blackout, which was the third pillar of 2018, make it free? Now, how do you justify dollars and cents in 2019? Is the whole point of this to ultimately move all of multiplayer over free to play? I don't believe so. I think that they definitely want to keep at Activision a $60 boxed product that they can sell to you each and every year. So I fully expect the return of single player, and then Blackout will exist as this ongoing service that sort of sits separately from the annualized Call of Duty games and can continue to receive updates and DLC and additions maybe year by year based on new characters, new areas, new eras that they decide to include in the full releases, and they can bring those to Blackout. Now, for me, I'm not the biggest fan of Battle Royale, so Blackout being free or paid doesn't do a whole lot for me. But it's very interesting when you consider the future of gaming and what it means to the next decade, the next generation, where some of the biggest and best and most desirable experiences are available for free. You get a new console, you turn it on, you can grab Fortnite, you can grab Blackout. What other publishers will want to get in on this model, even if it's not Battle Royale, but something where their property, their idea, their characters, their game world is available for download and then sustained by microtransactions? Especially as we move into the next generation, it'll be really interesting to see how these things evolve. Pachter also predicts that Overwatch will go free to play, and it could be a pretty big year for Overwatch, not just because of the Overwatch League, but also maybe the game comes to Switch and adds itself as another candidate to this free-to-play world where you can get a bunch of really awesome games for $0. Blizzard brought Diablo 3 to Switch. It was a very successful port. I really enjoy it over there. So Overwatch would be another nice addition for Nintendo in the third-party scene. Now, there are a number of new game predictions as well that I think are quite remarkable and maybe even crazy just based on their unlikelihood. But hey, these are the pros. People paid to do this, not just random internet rumor mongers. So I gotta take their word and their predictions with a lot more grains of salt, maybe even a handful of salt in comparison to a random tweet or forum post. Before we get to the exciting games, though, Matt Piscatella comes in playing devil's advocate and says that 2018 success will lead to tough comparable year for 2019 in terms of console software, stating that, hey, 2018 had so many good games, one after the other, from God of War to Spider-Man to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Quality, breadth, and depth around every corner. It'll be hard for 2019 to match it, especially as two of the major platform holders, Microsoft and Sony, are prepping their engines for a new generation. Now, nobody here thinks those consoles will release in 2019, but announcements and revelations could definitely be a part of the next 12 months. I find it hard to believe, at least for me personally, that 2019 will be a slouch, just given some of the games we know are coming and some of the games we don't know about yet, some of the gaps. I feel like maybe it's a me personally thing based on my gaming taste, but while God of War was really strong, Celeste was a phenomenal indie, Smash Bros. Ultimate did live up to the hype, the top half of my Game of the Year list, super easy, super strong. The middle and the sort of lower ends of my top 10, top 15, pretty hard for me to come up with. I felt like there was strong stuff at the cream of the crop top, and then a lot of like good stuff, but the great middle was a little bit lacking, at least based on the franchises and the fun that I typically enjoy most. So I'm pretty pumped for 2019, and I'm going to be super pumped if some of these predictions come true. Michael Pachter, he's laying it all out there, stating that he believes Respawn will launch 2 titles in 2019, Titanfall 3 and the new Star Wars game. That would be an incredibly dynamic duo for Electronic Arts, something that hopefully will get them back on track. We really want Anthem to be successful in February. It'll be a lot of fun if there is a Destiny competitor, and one that does it maybe even better, especially because it incorporates more storytelling. But Titanfall 3 and Star Wars, I think, would be awesome. Is that Battlefront 3? Is that something more single-player focused? We'll have to wait and see. But I hope that Titanfall 3, if it is coming, can realize the popularity and the player base that I think that series deserves. Titanfall 2 was so strong, a really cool, crisp, fun, and fast-paced single-player campaign, plus excellent multiplayer, and it just died almost straight on arrival. So Titanfall 3, the last hurrah. EA's got a lot riding on this year, and it seems like they're throwing things out there that could either boom or completely bust. But Pachter also predicts Elder Scrolls 6 coming in 2019. Now, he specifically states this because of Fallout 76 flopping, the fact that players are not glomming onto that really in any way. The game is already underseeing changes, and Bethesda is trying to elevate the game back into good graces with its fans, but it seems unlikely that they'll make much movement there. So fast-tracking Elder Scrolls 6 to not only regain good faith, but also to regain dollars, sales, and relevancy is something that they probably really want to do. I find it hard to believe that Elder Scrolls 6 will release this year, but hey, Bethesda they are the masters of announcement and release. They already have Doom Eternal and Rage 2 coming in 2019, so layering on a massive title like Elder Scrolls 6 seems like a lot, but they are a very prolific studio, and I don't think they like the idea of being viewed as a failure with Fallout 76. I personally really enjoyed 76, but hey, I feel like one of the few and far between when it comes to that. He also believes that Ubisoft is going to go hard with Skull and Bones, Splinter Cell, Watch Dogs 3, and Rainbow Six, a new title in that franchise, coming in 2019. We already know that Far Cry New Dawn is coming soon. It is going to be a mid-tier price title, more of a large expansion to Far Cry 5 than a whole new Far Cry. But hey, I am all about a new Sam Fisher title. Splinter Cell would be fantastic. We've seen it teased before. They promised it's coming, and this could be the year. Watch Dogs 3, hey, if it builds on the success of Watch Dogs 2, I thought that was an exponentially better game than Watch Dogs 1, and Assassin's Creed took a little bit of time to get going, so maybe Watch Dogs 3 is able to deliver a masterpiece, take us to a new location, give us a new character. I really like the stealthy gameplay, the tricks, and the tactics utilized in 2. So if they can have that fun with some new mechanics and even more polish, a better storyline, and hopefully no bloom, I'm ready for Watch Dogs 3. Rainbow Six, that's been one of the, I think, sleeper mega hits of this generation that started off slow and then just over-delivered in every way possible, but maybe this is more of a traditional Rainbow Six, or maybe it expands upon what they've done with Siege. We'll have to see. He also, Pachter is just really hoping 2019 is the year. He also says that Take-Two is going to have major announcements revealing the new BioShock and a new title from Rockstar. He believes these both will release in 2020, which I think makes sense. I don't think BioShock 4 is ready to go, but Borderlands 3 just might be, and he also mentions that from Gearbox, stating that it should probably be announced. He doesn't give a release date, but I think Take-Two needs something for 2019. They let Red Dead Redemption 2 kind of carry the entire year alongside NBA and WWE, but typically they have a lot of games, so maybe we get a bunch of announcements or maybe even releases this year. What's going on with Evolve? What's going on with BioShock? What's going on with some of their smaller franchises? Will XCOM make its way to Switch since Civilization has? We'll have to wait and see. We've got a lot of Switch talk, and one of the better pieces here is from Dr. Circantoto, predicting that there will be a lot more third-party software for Nintendo's hybrid in 2019. That come springtime, you're going to start to see a lot of announcements and releases from other big publishers, and that would be music to my ears. It's taken quite some time to get them on board and get this thing fully fleshed out, but if it's realized and happens in 2019, thumbs up from me. He predicts that a mega franchise from EA, Activision, or Take-Two will launch on Switch, and we already know Mortal Kombat 11, Doom Eternal are coming day and date, so it seems like the gears are really turning for third parties and Nintendo in 2019 already. What more could we get? I hope it's not just compilations and collections, but actual either day and date releases or maybe even new titles, exclusives that work really well on Nintendo's platform. I think it's sold enough and been successful enough to earn dedicated teams and dedicated titles from these big publishers. We saw a rumor that the Switch may have sold more than PS4 and Xbox One combined last month, and that is pretty crazy, but also believable given their lineup. There's also a lot of talk of Switch Pro and maybe even a Switch Lite. Now, this has been heavily rumored before, the idea that Nintendo is prepping a hardware refresh for 2019, and the general consensus is that it'll be a more powerful Switch that focuses on a little more power, better battery life, small tweaks of that sort. But Pactor and Toto also bring up the idea of a Switch Lite. Pactor goes a little more off the wall by thinking it would attach the Joy-Con to the system and make it a cheaper, almost 3DS handheld only type device. I find this to be a bit bonkers. I don't think we get a Switch Lite at all, but especially not one that removes the main gimmick, the main appeal of this system, the switchability. You'd have to change the logo. Could you even call it a Switch if nothing can switch, if there's no dock, no TV mode? How does that even work? So I don't think a Lite is the direction they'll go. I think a Pro is what we will see. I'm not sure when it will release, and it's a bit odd given how successful the system already is, but maybe they want to dig a little deeper and start prepping for when PS5 and Xbox 2 Scarlet Anaconda eventually come out. Nintendo needs a little bit more graphical oomph if they want to compete or at least get some games of comparable quality. I find it extra odd that Microsoft isn't mentioned more in really any of these rumors. They had, I think, a lackluster year in 2018, and they don't have a ton lined up going forward. So the fact that none of these analysts are predicting a big stealth exclusive or a big year for Microsoft has me a bit confused and worried. The fact that Sony is sitting out E3, I think, opens the door for Microsoft to come in and really blow people away with whatever they're prepping for the next generation of Xbox, and maybe they just won't be able to get it together this year. Maybe it's all hands on deck for the future, all bets on the next system, and that is where they'll deliver all of these awesome exclusives. We are getting Gears 5 in 2019, which looks awesome. I love the first trailer of that. Crackdown 3 inspires nothing in me, but I know some people are pumped. I think it's a small group, but some people are. What else is Xbox doing? Well, these analysts don't seem to know. That covers the big predictions made by this group of analysts, and if they are all to come true, it would be a crazy 2019. But let me know in the comments down below which of these you're most excited for. Which of these games would you be most pumped to play in 2019? And you can include Blackout in that list, because if it goes free to play, anybody can grab that even if they don't purchase Call of Duty. For me, it's got to be Titanfall 3 and whatever Take-Two announces. I love Titanfall 2, and I am crazy about BioShock as well as Evolve. Hey, they did commit to Evolve as a permanent franchise as a part of their company, so maybe, just maybe, we could get word of a new game in that series. I would absolutely go bananas. But in the meantime, everybody, have a fantastic day. Thanks so much for watching. Drink some hot chocolate, and until next time, we will see you all later.